Hey guys, welcome back to Primer Podcast. My name's Jessica Flake. I'm part of the spiritual formation team. We are here this week with James Wilkes from Elon Baptist, and excited to have you. You were here last year for the Storytellers.
Been here for 2 years.
2 years.
2 years.
Doesn't seem like
Last Sunday of July.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, this is our first week, so you're the first storyteller of the series.
Always the first storyteller, I think. Yeah. He always puts it on me to be the first.
It's a little bit of pressure.
A lot of pressure, not a little bit. A lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, we are so excited to have you. And, I was just mentioning a little bit ago to you that I've loved seeing you and Pete build this relationship with each other, and that your personal relationships building has helped the church's relationships start to build. And so, like, we've been over to Elon Baptist and for Ash Wednesday, and it's been really just a great.
Pete is my friend, and he'll be coming back next Ash Wednesday. Yeah, that's my friend. That's my friend. He's a good guy in St. Mark's. So very blessed to have him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really are. Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yes. Yeah. We love him. And he's been such a great, just a light for St. Mark's. So yeah. So the Storyteller series is all about impact. And so what are you focusing on for this week?
So I think the question that I ask is somewhat of when I was in seminary at Wake Forest, someone asked the question of who makes the clown laugh, right? Because the clown's job is to make everybody laugh.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, the clown leaves empty with no laughter, and nobody makes them laugh. So the question I want to ask Sunday is, who impacts the people that impact other folks?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we are impacting people's lives, showing up for people, caring for people, being compassionate. The question really is, who impacts our life? Who fills our cup when we're on empty?
Right.
Last year, I had to deal with a harsh reality. I was talking to a therapist, and I shared with them that I was so tired. Tired, I lost some weight, thought that would help. I was running, thought that would help. I was still tired. And I had to sit with this compassion fatigue. That I'm dealing with compassion fatigue. And I had to figure out who fills my cup when I've filled others' cups.
Yeah.
And so Sunday I want to deal with the importance of us impacting others. But then the question is, who impacts us?
I think it has so much to do with intentionality and making sure that you look for that in your life. I'm sure you do that on a regular basis, and where you have to remind yourself. I know I have to remind myself when I'm feeling that emptiness, is that that I have to be filled as well.
Yeah, to be filled too. And to deal with the reality that sometimes our impact on others takes so much out of us because we're expecting something that may not happen. So I'm somewhat dealing with John 11 Sunday.
Okay.
So Mary and Martha are both impacting Lazarus' life by serving and showing up and caring for their brother.
Yeah.
Praying, right?
Yeah,
Jesus,
he's sick.
He's sick. Yeah. He's not well. They sent word to Jesus, Lazarus is not well. And Jesus doesn't come. And what they've been praying for doesn't happen for them.
Right.
And so what happens when I'm impacting somebody's life and it doesn't happen and turn out the way I want it to? It can leave you empty.
Right.
Because now they're dealing with exhaustion, right? fatigue because they've been serving and caring, and now disappointment and grief. And so that's kind of what I want to do with Sunday, because I've been impacting somebody's life. And all month you all talk about you get to hear about impacting somebody's life. But I think the danger is if I talk so much just about impacting others' lives that I forget that my life still needs to be impacted.
Yeah. What part of John 11 do you love?
So John 11 is like, if my church heard that I was preaching John 11, they'd probably giggle, right? Because I preach John 11 every year. My best friend is my musician. We've been best friends since college. We met his freshman year. I was his RA. And so he's the executive minister of our worship and arts, right? Well, before I started pastoring, I was preaching everywhere, and I preached John 11. I love John 11. But I love John 11 because John 11 always means something different to me. It's something that I hold near and dear to my heart. I wrote my New Testament paper on it at Wake Forest, right? I love John 11. And so when I think about what do I focus on, John 11 is this weird way of saying Jesus is spending time with disciples. Number one, he gets word, but he doesn't move to go to Bethany. It's weird, right? Because he keeps spending time with disciples. Then he goes around Bethany and goes through this place, and they don't want him to go. But he goes anyway. So then he finally gets to Bethany, and by the time he gets there, of course, Lazarus has been dead for 4 days. So by the time he gets there, he doesn't even get to go to Mary and Martha's house. Mary and Martha come to him. But Martha comes first. Mary stays where she is.
Right.
Martha says, if you'd been here, my brother would have died.
Why do you think? So, I've heard different thoughts of why Mary wasn't there. What have you thought of that? Of like, because Mary's the one that I've always thought, gosh, she's at Jesus's feet, and later on pouring the perfume on his feet, and so she's the one that seems very in tune with her feelings, and where Martha's the one that's always doing, and so.
Well, Martha represents work, and Mary represents worship.
Yeah.
I think Martha had to go. I don't think Mary could go.
Why is that?
I think Mary was so frustrated, and many people don't like to talk about this, but sometimes you can be upset with God. Right?
Yeah.
I think she's so frustrated with you. Like, why would I show up for you?
Yeah.
Because you in town when I've been asking you to show up the whole time.
Yeah.
And if you read John 11, you'll find she actually had no intentions of going to see Jesus. Because when Martha comes back, says the teacher is looking for you.
Yeah.
The teacher wants you to come.
The teacher is here.
Yeah, the teacher's here. Like,
asking for you. Yeah.
It's not that she wanted to go.
Yeah.
She was going to stay where she was.
Yeah, she waited until Martha said, "Hey, Jesus is outside. Yeah, you might want to."
Yeah, he's waiting on you. Why don't you come check?
Yeah.
Talk to him. And so, Sunday we'll talk about what that looks like, and we'll even dive deep into these sisters who have some similar response, but different emotions behind it. But I'll give you a spoiler alert. Martha's very keen on theology. Because when Jesus says, when Martha says, have you been my brother when he died? Jesus says, yes, but he will rise again. And Martha says, yeah, in that great resurrection, right?
Yeah.
Well, in her mind, that's all she could see was the after this, right? The afterlife, the apocalyptic, right? That, yeah, he'll rise later. But Jesus wasn't talking about that. And so Martha was so infatuated with theology that she couldn't be in tune to her feelings. Because sometimes theology makes us put a Band-Aid on what we really feel.
Yeah.
And so there's this difference between Martha and Mary. So that's kind of what I'm trying to work out.
Yeah.
Sunday.
That's awesome. Well, we really just are excited to hear on Sunday, and just excited for our groups to think about that, as well as us individually. So our groups do these studies with each other, and then some of our people do our individual studies as well. And so just the thought of remembering that when we're impacting others, it really can drain us, and just to be mindful of when you're feeling that emptiness, first go to God, and which is what Martha did.
She goes.
She does.
She goes and tells Jesus exactly what she feels, and so.
And it's funny. Like I'm a doer, and so I probably relate mostly to Martha, and so but then I see some parts of the. I'd say when I'm empty, I'm more like Mary, where I'm like, I would get mad, and I'd get upset, and I wouldn't want to go. I would, where I love the thought of Martha's, her love and respect for Jesus. She loved and respected him enough to go to him and say, "You have let me down." And I've been caring for Lazarus for the last several days, and we told you this was going to happen.
Yeah, you didn't show up.
And yet you didn't show up. And so that emptiness that she is feeling, she still was had the love to want to go to Jesus. And that's what we have to remember, is even in our emptiness, to make sure that first we go to Jesus, but we also need others to fill us when we are so empty that we sometimes can't, like we're like Mary, and we can't even talk to Jesus during those times sometimes, because it's so hard to not be frustrated.
Yep. So Sunday's gonna be an interesting Sunday.
Yeah.
I often tell people, I don't preach as long as he does.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
The 29-minute mark, we might be getting out of here.
That's right.
But I'm excited to talk about who impacts the impactor.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we appreciate it.
I appreciate y'all. I'm looking forward to it. As long as I get some good coffee Sunday, that'd be good.
That's right. Oh, I'm sure we'll get you a good cup of coffee. Well, guys, we hope that you enjoy your time of study with your group or your individual time, and we'll see you next week.